A misty morning. Sunlight gently pierces through the canopy of the primeval forest. In a quiet valley, deep beneath ancient trees, lies a large nest, covered in dry leaves and broken branches. Here, a colossal creature lets out a low growl, an echo like a whisper from a long-lost era. It is the mother Tyrannosaurus Rex, ruler of the land, now showing a tenderness few would expect. Tucked beside her massive body are 3 eggs, their shells starting to crack, veins of life spreading across the surface. Crack, crack! A tiny beak punctures the thick shell, followed by a pair of wet, blinking eyes, gazing at the world for the very first time. 1 hatchling, then 2, then 3. They tremble, fragile, little feet stumbling over dry leaves. But behind them, their mother's towering legs form an unbreakable wall of protection. The T-Rex mother lowers her massive head, gently nudging each newborn, letting out soft rumbles, a sacred greeting between mother and child. It seems peaceful, but high above, in the sky, a shadow is forming. The wings of a predator, silently closing in. A few hundred meters away, high in the sky, a dark shadow glides silently through the clouds. It is Quetzalcoatlus, a giant of the skies, with a wingspan longer than a city bus. It makes no sound. It gives no warning. All it takes is one glance downward, and it spots what it came for, a living feast. Behind it, 4 smaller Pteranodons circle like arrows waiting to be released. They are not flying aimlessly. They are coordinating, maintaining altitude, distance, and deadly silence. They've been tracking the T-Rex mother for 3 days, waiting. And now, as the eggs begin to hatch, the hunt begins. Not all predators bear blooded claws. Sometimes, death comes quietly from the sky. The sky darkens, not from clouds, but from wings. Quetzalcoatlus glides in slow, silent circles, then suddenly folds its wings and dives like a living spear. No sound, no warning. A Pteranodon follows close behind, locking its sights on a hatchling wobbling near the nest's edge. It opens its jaws, plunging straight down. Just a few meters away, roar! A thunderous roar shakes the forest to its roots. The T-Rex mother turns in time. She charges forward like a storm, smashing the Pteranodon mid-air with a violent swing of her head. Wings snap, a shriek cuts through the air, then silence. But this is only the beginning. 2, then 3 more flyers descend, screeching through the wind. They're not just hunting, they're overwhelming. Quetzalcoatlus lands with a crash, scattering leaves and dust. It towers nearly as high as a giraffe, now face to face with the T-Rex mother. 2 monsters, one of the land, one of the sky, stand locked in a deadly standoff. The air grew tense, tight as a drawn bowstring. From the skies, a shadow descended, Quetzalcoatlus, landing just meters from the nest. Its long neck craned forward, massive wings spread wide in silent warning. Its beady, sharp eyes locked onto the trembling hatchlings nestled behind their mother's legs. But the T-Rex mother did not retreat. She roared a thunderous sound that shook the forest, reverberating through the trees and making the airborne predator hesitate. If this were a one-on-one duel, there was no question. It would be anything but fair. Tyrannosaurus Rex, over 12 meters long and weighing up to 8 tons, wielded a bite force capable of crushing steel, nearly 6 tons of pressure in a single chomp. Her skin was thick, armor-like, Her legs, pillars of brute strength, could crush boulders beneath them. Meanwhile, Quetzalcoatlus, despite its enormous 10-meter wingspan, was astonishingly light, weighing only about 200 kilograms. It had no crushing bite, no endurance for a close-range brawl. Its strategy depended on surprise attacks from the air, targeting only the weak, the unaware, the unprotected. Even Pteranodon, with its agility and speed, was no better in direct combat. Weighing only a few dozen kilograms, it could never dream of standing toe-to-toe with any land predator, let alone the queen of the earth. And so, no flying creature, no matter how godlike its presence in the sky, could ever truly defeat a full-grown T-Rex. They knew this. They were not foolish. They were not suicidal. They were watchers, opportunists. They waited for that one fatal mistake, not to challenge the mother, but to steal the children. Suddenly, a blur in the corner of the nest. One of the hatchlings had wandered too far, lured by a flicker of light or a falling leaf. In that split second, a shadow broke from the canopy above. Pteranodon, its wings sliced through the air with a whisper, beak open, talons stretched forward like daggers, aiming for the helpless chick. But it never reached its prey. With terrifying speed for a creature her size, the T-Rex mother lunged, her jaws clamped down with a sickening crunch. Feathers, bone, and blood burst into the air like a gruesome confetti. The Pteranodon never made a sound. Another screech echoed overhead, Quetzalcoatlus, realizing the ambush had failed. It beat its wings furiously to escape, but T-Rex wasn't done. She reared up, letting out a roar that shattered the silence like a war horn of the ancient world. The skies scattered. The cowards fled. The queen had made her point. She returned to her chicks, who were now huddled together, eyes wide and glistening. The forest held its breath. All was still, except for the soft rumble of the great mother's breath, like distant thunder guarding a calm after storm. This wasn't just instinct. This was wrath. This was love carved in tooth and roar. The nest was safe, for now, but the skies would always watch. Millions of years have passed since the baby T-Rex first opened their eyes to the world. The ancient forests have vanished. The monstrous beasts have turned to fossils. But their legacy never truly disappeared. Today, in the backyard of a rural farm, a mother hen flares her feathers and charges at a hawk swooping down toward her nest. No matter how large or fierce the predator, she will protect her young at all costs. High on a mountain peak, a falcon dives like an arrow, sinking its talons into a baby squirrel that wandered too far. In those cold, focused eyes burns a gaze that is ancient and unyielding, no different from the stare of a Quetzalcoatlus circling the Cretaceous skies. Though their forms have changed, though their size is now measured in mere kilograms, the predator's spirit and the instinct to defend the young remain fully intact. Chickens, direct descendants of dinosaurs like the T-Rex. Hawks and falcons, heirs to the bloodline of the sky's ancient rulers. In every defiant cluck, in every talon strike to defend the nest, echoes the voice of the dinosaur age, an immortal legacy, written not just in fossils, but in the fierce will to survive. At sunset, a large bird soars across the peaceful valley, once the domain of monsters. The wind whispers through the trees, carrying secrets buried from millions of years. From the earth rose the Tyrannosaurus Rex with unmatched might. From the skies came Quetzalcoatlus and Pteranodon, casting enormous shadows below. Their battles were not just of tooth and claw, but of two worlds colliding,
Sky and ground, mother and hunter, life against life. And in those moments, when a mother stood guard over her nest, when a winged predator hovered but didn't strike, we began to understand victory doesn't always belong to the strongest, but to those willing to sacrifice everything to protect. Today, their descendants, whether covered in feathers or armed with talons, still live among us. Their behaviors, instincts, and ancient calls still echo in even the smallest creatures. The Cretaceous period has ended, but the story hasn't. It lives on every time a wing brushes the sky. It lives on every time a mother of any species stands to defend her young. When the sky calls the earth, the past doesn't just return, it soars.